Coming to you from South Plainfield, New Jersey. Hello, everybody. Yes, it is Lehigh Valley Storm football and Major League Football here on the air, as the Lehigh Valley Storm are here in South Plainfield to take on the Central Jersey Vikings. It is your DJ Crazy Tom Wilkins here, along with JJ James Josephson. Of course, Howard taking care of the cameras and stuff here today. And as for the Lehigh Valley Storm, JJ, I think we can go back to the logo. The NFL back to football again. Their first game basically in a month, and as almost basically after only one game in like 41 days, the Storm are ready to go and try and improve their 6-1 record.
Yeah, it's everyone loves a bye week, but when you have a couple weeks off in a row, you can show some rust when you come back, and it should be interesting to come out. The Central Jersey Vikings are a good football team with a great defense, so it's going to be fun to see quarterback Jimmy LeHue come out and see what he can do tonight in South Plainfield, New Jersey.
And so the Lehigh Valley Storm, of course, they have been flowing along almost flawlessly. Their only setback was, of course, in Albany back on August the 9th when they fell to the Albany Metro Maulers in an interleague friendly game. But when it's come to league play, they have been dominant. I think, JJ, we'd have to say that this is going to be a very important game for the Storm, because this will show really how much they've kept in shape, considering they've had so much time off, and the only game they played have been the most important one this year to this date.
Yeah, the win against the New Jersey Wolves was a huge victory, and I was talking to some guys on my show this week. Raheem Ridley, he called me. He did his interview from the gym, and so did Devon Gordon. So these guys are excited, and they're staying in shape, and they're ready to come out and play some good football.
But little do we know that the Lehigh Valley Storm is in for a very interesting challenge. They have 3 consecutive road games, and they were supposed to have a home game a couple weeks ago, but unfortunately things did not pan out as planned. So now the Storm finished their regular season, 3 consecutive road games here in South Plainfield tonight against these Central Jersey Vikings, who have been very championship tested over the years. Then you have the New Jersey Longhorns and New Jersey Bravehearts to follow, both in Roselle, not too far away from here. So the Storm, I think, not only is this going to be an important game, but this might be a barometer as to where they go from here in the next couple weeks.
Absolutely. It's going to set the tone for the next couple games in a row, and they want to win those, obviously, because they want home field advantage. They've outscored their opponents 184-3 at home this year so far, so getting home field advantage throughout the playoffs is something that they're definitely looking for.
And of course, we want to send a special welcome to our friends watching us on livestream.com, Major League Football action. For those of you watching, right now Howard's going to premiere for you the new promo from Major League Football.
Keep going.
And for our radio people, obviously, we're going to be kind of doing this back and forth between the video and audio streams. So, needless to say, I know we might be a little bit rusty here tonight, but you know what? It's nice to get back to football again and to go into the second season, but it's going to be the third season. It's going to be the postseason. But as I always say, 1 week at a time. What do you expect here in tonight's game, especially with this Vikings team who is 3-4 on the year and realizes they've got to really have this game in order to stay in playoff contention?
Well, the Vikings have a great running back, so I know that they're going to try and pound the ball right at the Storm early on to open up the pass game. But I'm expecting the Storm to come out a little bit rusty. But as the game goes along, I don't think that the Vikings have the talent that we have, and it could get crazy later on in the second half. But I'm definitely expecting a good game.
You're expecting me to go crazy in the second half? Who knows?
Always.
Yeah, it's anybody's guess. In any case, the Vikings had come off a 15-12 win over the Newark, New Jersey Spartans last week here on this field. And obviously, knowing that the Vikings, they've been champions of leagues in 2010, 2012, one thing to kind of consider, I actually did the game between them and the New Jersey Longhorns back in Bridgewater when, of course, they played forever. In fact, an unexpected third overtime in their BEFF championship game when the Vikings won, I believe, was 14-8 there. But so this team knows what it takes to be a champion, and as for the Storm, they have to realize they've been close, but now they need to go and take the next step. So for them, What do you think should be the start of this game plan for them, at least in the mind of Bob Kohler, their head coach?
Obviously, come out and just give the ball to Raheem Ridley and Sean Myers and let the offensive line just get on the blockers and off to the linebacking core. They've a really good linebacker, number 99. Parker Canty is his name, and he's going to be a force inside. So they definitely have to get a guy on him so he's not flying around and making plays. But everyone should be rusty, including the coaching staff. So just get back out to it and get back into the swing of things.
And including us. Well, at least we hope not.
Correct.
But anyway, yes, Parker Canty, certainly one of the leaders in tackling for the Central Jersey Vikings. Let's also not forget the other couple in the 90s, such as Alvin Foster and Rev Bazil, who happened to help out the D-line as well. So another issue for the Storm. Yes, we all know the passing attack is lethal, but the wind has really picked up in the last couple hours as a cold front has come through. We had some early morning rain. Thankfully, everything has cleared out, and just in time for a kickoff, which will be in a few minutes here in South Plainfield. Do you think the wind, and this might be a dumb question, but do you think the wind could play a big factor as far as Jimmy LeHugh's passing arm is concerned?
Absolutely, it could, and something that you always have to, you can't be throwing ducks out there, especially against a real good defense that only lets up a little over 14 points a game. So for the Vikings to win this game, the defense is going to have to make a lot of plays. And against the Storm, it's real hard to come back just because the offense is so good and they just go up and down the field. So the defense is going to have to make a play early on and see. Hopefully the wind is on their side.
Yeah, we're running a tad bit behind. We're waiting for the officials to show on the field. We will be underway very shortly. The one thing you have to consider, too, about this Lehigh Valley Storm team, now, of course, they're 6-1. They came off a huge win over the New Jersey Wolves. Of course, Orrin Marshman, the hat trick of interceptions, having 3 of them. They had basically a flawless first half, but they only scored 6 points in the second half, and the fact that they haven't played in nearly 3 or 4 weeks, I mean, who knows? I mean, I think it's very important for the Storm to really have a fast start in this game, but the question is, how fast, given the long layoff?
Yeah, well, I know the defense is real fired up, and it seems like a couple years ago when that Orrin Marshman had that 3 interception game, but it's been a while, and he said the guys were getting on him that he didn't get into the end zone. So he went on a diet. That's what he told me, and we had a good laugh on my show. But this defense is going to be ready. I know 91 Chris Medina wasn't at that Wolves game, and he's a great player inside. So he's going to be getting after the quarterback, and we'll just see what happens. I'm excited.
Well, that's all we can do.
Go ahead, keep going.
Andre, that's all we can do at this point. Like I said, we're dealing with the video people as well. While we have a second, we'll remind everybody that Pepsi is the proud sponsor of Lehigh Valley Storm football. Pepsi, live for now. It's also brought to you by A&H Sporting Goods, Schrudy's Pub and Restaurant, located at 1853 Northampton Street in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Also by the Scott family of dealerships, the Scott Lot, Scott Chevrolet, Scott Mazda, and Scott Volvo. Also by CSB, the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, celebrating 50 years of excellence, and JJ and I are part of those. Just go 800 TV Radio or go online, go CSB.com for more details on that. Also by State Farm Insurance, Blackman Cycle Center, Kula Children's Center, Buca di Beppo Italian Restaurant, Philly Pretzel Factory, Amato Family Chiropractic, and of course, Howard's crew at HSG Productions. Remember what Howard says, this is video when you're ready to take your game film to the next level. And we're very happy to have you on the audio side too. For those of you listening to Storm Radio, of course we really appreciate it. Storm Radio on Hot101.net. We got to add that in. We really didn't quite do that the last time, so we'll try and make sure we add those a few more times. So just to let you know, the Lehigh Valley Storm in their traditional black uniforms with white sides and white numerals, black helmets, while the Central Jersey Vikings are in Minnesota Vikings colors, only their home uniforms are gold with purple numerals, the word Vikings up front, and of course purple pants and helmets to go along with that. So, needless to say, it will be very interesting to see how each team goes. And you have to understand, we're going to have the coin toss in just a couple of minutes. We'll remind everybody that whoever wins, I'm sure will decide which will they receive? Will give it up to the second half? I think despite the fact that there's really no rain in the forecast, the wind is going to determine where position is going to be.
Yeah, exactly. The wind is definitely going to be a factor, but I expect if they win the toss to get the ball and try and go right down the field early on. Like you said, they do want to, after a couple weeks off, come out and go right down the field and score. So I know that the running backs, Sean Myers and Raheem Ridley, are all excited, and Devon Gordon can't wait to start catching a couple more touchdown passes with that Jimmy LeHue connection. So I think they might get the ball and go down the field.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm sure the Vikings defense is gonna really play a big role in trying to shut down Devon Gordon. But of course, you've got the other weapons in Yusuf Reddick. You also have Jaleel Clark, who's having a very nice year. So you know that Jimmy LeHue has a lot of weapons at his disposal to use. So if it's not Gordon, it could be one of the other ones, or we could also see the surprise guy in Michael Thomas, otherwise known as the running back roadrunner when it comes to screen passes this year.
Yeah, every time he touches the ball, he finds the end zone. It seems to be like he probably has 10 catches on the year, and maybe half of them are touchdowns. So he's a guy that you really have to look out for, and he had a great third down catch against the New Jersey Wolves over the middle that kept that first drive alive, and in my opinion, that was the most important drive. So quarterback Jimmy LeHue has a ton of weapons. Obviously, Devon Gordon could be his favorite, but he always spreads the ball out, and it's a real good offense that is going to be ready to have a great game tonight.
And let's also not forget, the last time the Storm took a field, it was in Plainfield, New Jersey, when the Storm won 34-21 over those Plainfield, New Jersey Wolves. And as you mentioned, JJ, probably the most important play of the entire game was that 3rd and 19 connection, which resulted in a first down. And it wasn't the only third down conversion. They had 3 in that opening drive that led to a 7-0 lead, and pretty much the Storm set the tone of the game there. This here is different. Now, we're not saying that the level of competition is different. However, a team is a team, and all you have to do is ask the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as to how football is being played. You can get destroyed and give up 50 points one week, and then suddenly you go into Pittsburgh and win. So any given Saturday night at this point.
Yeah, I could talk till I'm blue in the face on my Thursday shows and do all my interviews and my predictions and all that, but that's why you go out and you play the game. I know that we played real well versus the New Jersey Wolves, but this team also lost only by 2 points to the Wolves, who's a very good football team. So they have some players and they have some athletes, but most importantly, they have a ton of heart. I talked to one of their coaches, Coach Lowe, and he said, we're a family, and we're really ready to come out and show the Storm who we are.
And I'm sure they will do a pretty good job with that. Of course, the Central Jersey Vikings led by head coach Joe Pagan, whom, of course, the Vikings, as we mentioned, 3-4 on the season, definitely fighting for playoff position in Major League Football. So the officials are starting to work their way onto the field. Of course, the two coaches have had words. Just so we get everything straight, this is the second straight game that the Lehigh Valley Storm will be playing on actual grass surface. Now, considering about a month ago when they played on the Wolves surface, remember there was a downpour an hour before the game actually started, and that might have slowed some people down. Here we had some morning rain. It turned out to have gone out faster than we had anticipated, but now we know that we have great playing conditions, except the field is probably going to be wet, and for the Storm, I'm sure they need to be aware that this is 2 straight games where they need to really be careful of their footing, because remember, all the games they played beforehand were on that regular next turf that they use, whether it be at home or on the road games.
Yeah, a wet field is something that obviously helps out the Vikings, being that they have a great defense and kind of a struggling offense, and just the fact that the Storm offense is so good and so fast, it definitely helps them out. But it should be interesting to see how everything works out.
From our position, I'm sorry, we'll come back in a second here.
No, keep going.
I'm getting a little confused here. Anyway, the coin toss is about to happen as the captains for the Vikings are coming out onto the field. They happen to be the likes of Kay Lynchwood. Also, Terrence Brown is out there, along with number 77 in Jonathan Rodriguez. I can't find the fourth guy's number, but in the meantime, for the Storm, you have Jaron Elder, who's out there, along with Jimmy LeHue, the quarterback, Joe Davis, the key on defense, and also number 77, if I can dig that out, Zach Yankovic, who I'm sure is one of the veterans here in the contest. So the officials are meeting up here at the midfield stripe. The Vikings are closest to us on the near side of the field. The Storm will be on the far side.
It's number 10.
How you doing? Okay.
So we're waiting to see what happens here.
Nothing to do anything. No.
So, we've just been told there will not be a national anthem this evening, but of course the Lehigh Valley Storm and Major League Football would like to remind you as always to support the troops. Now, we usually try and do the anthem before the coin toss, but this is not our field, so not much you can do about that.
Yeah, all you do, put it in, hit it.
I'm not hitting.
Let it run.
I'm hitting.
Number 10.
It's not even on. How do you know if it's even on?
Well, they want to make sure they do that. This might be the first national anthem that has people not to announce a please rise for the anthem and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're waiting to get everything all sorted out.
PA to announce it.
And I don't have a bellowing voice, which I gotta save. All right, so the official to the right has just called the coin toss. Actually, they're flipping it again. I don't know how good it's going to bounce here, but okay, it looks like the Central Jersey Vikings evidently have won the toss. So what's going to happen is the Vikings will move left to right, the Storm right to left, and we'll switch sides in the second quarter. Even though the officials didn't really give much of a...
Storm are getting the ball.
I see.
Is all fired up.
Okay, I see it. The officials didn't give us a clear sign, but it looked like the Vikings won the toss. They will refuse in the second half, and so the Storm will get the ball first, moving right to left. So, now, here's the first chess match number here. What do you think the Storm come out and do, depending on how the field position plays out?
If number 11, Yusuf Reddick, doesn't take it back for a touchdown, which I think easily could happen. He's been really breaking right away from breaking loose for a touchdown all season. But I think they're just gonna play it safe, be simple, and just do your fundamentals and come out and play football.
And the Vikings right now are doing a little bit of a dance as they're about to do the kickoff. They're showing their family ties here and keeping the cohesion. But hey, everybody has their way of doing things, as they say. As you can hear in the background, for those of you listening, those are the Central Jersey Vikings, again doing their little pre-game dance and fire-up antics before kickoff here. In a way, it went through my mind of the old 1990 Chicago Bulls teams, where somebody from the Bulls yelled, "What time is it?" and everybody yelled, "Game time!" They kept it simple. You hear that one more like a Shakespearean Pulitzer novel or something, but still. In any case, you know the Vikings are fired up. They played the last 3 weeks. They're pretty much in football gear. And right now, the Storm, and I'm looking here at one of the coaches, and I'm not sure exactly what's going on here, hammering something on the field in front of the officials and, of course, owner Steve and head coach Bob Kohler. It possibly might be a divot or a field issue. I'm not 100% sure which, but we're waiting to see exactly what the story is.
About the link for Facebook.
So, who knows what's going to happen. Once again, we'll remind you, of course, Pepsi, the proud sponsor of Lehigh Valley Storm football. Pepsi, live for now. And very, very shortly, we'll be getting underway after we deal with this field issue. We'll remind everybody, for all information on the Lehigh Valley Storm, check the website out, lvstormfootball.com. You have the link to Storm Radio, the rosters, the schedules, updates, game scores, statistics, and so much more. And guess what? Oregon, you can be proud because Alabama just lost to Ole Miss 23-17.
Well, also I'm going to jump in here for a second, and the live stream link for to watch this game live is on the MLF Facebook page. Once again, the link is on the MLF Facebook page. So if you want to watch this game live and live stream.
Okay, well, Yusuf Reddick and Sean Myers are back for the Storm as here's the approach, and here we go. now a very short kickoff, which will be taken by one of the upmen for the Storm at about the 40, and sliding down is number 22 down to about the 46-yard line. And the Storm are actually going to have halfway decent field position to begin things as quarterback Jimmy LeHue comes on and will work with a little bit of a short field.
Yeah, something that this offense has been really accustomed to all season. They always seem to have great field position, whether it be a big kick return by the kick returners. Also, the fact that the defense creates a ton of turnovers and puts their offense in great field position. So 50 yards to start the season. They look all fired up and ready to go.
Indeed they are. They're going to spot the ball just shy of the 45-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Storm. And LeHue lines up in a pistolero formation. Last second substitution for the Vikings as LeHue is in the pistolero with Sean Myers behind him. Now Raheem Ridley and Michael Thomas now going between Jimmy LeHue. Now in motion, Michael Thomas on 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line. First play in about a month. Here's a handoff. Sean Myers steps to the right side, has a hole. He'll cross midfield and go down to about the 46-yard line in Viking territory. A gain of 9 on the play, and looks like bringing him down. Can't see. It looks like, I think it was Jared Crowley with the tackle. A little hard to see, but it might have been, it also could have been Terrence Brown too. But anyway, 2nd and a yard. The Storm line up in a little unusual formation, do a tri-back pistolero with LeHue in the front in between Michael Thomas and Raheem Ridley. So 2nd and a yard, receiver on each side. And now here's a handoff. Sean Myers again. He'll go around the outside, cross the 45, get hit down at about the 42 and fumble the football. He fumbled the football, but did he fall on it? The ball be spotted the 41, but the Storm were lucky to get it back. The hit was provided by Parker Cawley. Yeah, Parker Canty rather. Parker Canty was the one who made the hit and jarred the ball loose, but Myers was lucky to fall on it. It's a gain of 5 and 1st down for the Storm as they're about to reset themselves.
Yeah, Big 99 leads the team in sacks, tackles, and tackles for loss. So that was a break that this Viking team needed, and unfortunately they couldn't land on the ball.
In the same formation, they have a receiver on each side, a tri-back pistolero for Jimmy LeHue, who stands between Ridley and Thomas. 1st and 10. Back goes LeHue. Here's a pass, and it is caught. And that is Jaleel Clark, who crosses about the 35 and go down to about the 31. Looks like a gain of 10, and we'll see if they move the chains here. He might just be a hair short of a 1st down. Depends on... No, they are moving the chains. There's a 1st down for the Storm.
Yeah, great throw coming off a couple weeks off. LeHue to Jaleel Clark right on a little skinny post there, and that's what this team does. And the cornerbacks are going to have to watch out. There's going to be a lot more of those posts coming the rest of this football game.
1st and 10 from the Viking 30-yard line for LeHue in the same formation. Vikings showing blitz here. Back goes LeHue. Looks, he throws right, and a pass batted down, incomplete. And I tell you what, talk about the Ed Too Tall Jones spike. That was a good spike by Terrence Brown. He made the 1st tackle, and he knocked that ball away. That was intended for Jaleel Clark. They tried the same play, but Brown sniffed it.
Yeah, I just called out. It's going to be coming a lot more, and obviously he knows that, and he made a great play and tried to step in front of one there. So they went back to the slant. It worked before for a 1st down, but not this time.
All right, on 2nd and 10, I guess he heard what we were trying to describe here. All right, 2nd and 10 from the 30-yard line for Jimmy LeHue in Viking territory. He takes a snap in the same formation. He's going to keep it himself, run to the right, cross the 30, have a hold, and get shoved out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. Probably a gain of 3 for LeHue, but the Storm will be forced on a 3rd and 7.
Yeah, a little miscommunication there. LeHue, I thought he was handing it off to Myers, and Myers wasn't ready for the football, so it was a broken play, and he picked up a little bit of yardage, but it's a big 3rd down here.
Actually gained a little bit more than I anticipated. It was a gain of 4 to the 26, so the Storm will have a 3rd and 6 from the Viking 26-yard line. They get out of that tri-back pistolero, and they're going to line up with 4 receivers traditionally, 2 on each side, and Sean Myers standing to the left of Jimmy LeHue. 3rd and 6 from the 26. Back goes LeHue. He waits. He looks. He's going to throw it deep. He's looking for Gordon in double coverage, and he couldn't quite get to him. Incomplete. It was intended for Gordon, but there was good coverage on the punt of Jonathan Ortiz, and I believe Frank Parrish was the other one. But now the Storm are forced to a 4th down. Do you send Eppleman out to try a 43-yarder?
Yes, I think that you do. You want to get points on the board early on here. I mean, this defense already is ready for the slants and ready for the Devon Gordon deep ball. So this is a real big 4th down, and they're definitely looking for a stop here.
Well, it looks like they're going for it because the wind is playing tricks on the ball. So they're going to line up in the same formation, 4th and 6 on the 26 of the Vikings. Storm in the opening drive of the game. Michael Thomas now going in motion to the left. LeHue takes the snap. Here comes the rush. LeHue will throw left, and a pass is caught. Yusuf Reddick inside the 10 and bashed out of downs there. A good tackle on the part of Jonathan Ortiz, but Yusuf Reddick was able to make that 4th down grab, 16 yards, and it should be 1st and goal.
Yeah, that was a great strike from LeHue to Reddick there. Reddick just found the opening, and he stopped, and LeHue, with pressure in his face, found Yusuf Reddick for a huge 1st down and keep this drive alive.
Just so you know, the gentleman who returned the kickoff to start the game was number 22, Travis King. So we just wanted to make that clarification for everybody. All right, 1st and goal for the Storm at the Viking 10-yard line. Back into the Pistolero tryback. LeHue waiting for the snap. He will take it and then hand off to Myers. He reverses direction. Let's see what he can do. He gets to the 10, to the 5. There's a flag down. He is in the end zone, but since it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, a pink flag came out, and I think it's coming back.
Yeah, I believe so. The only thing that could be called there is holding. But Sean Myers is really running hard this first drive. He was fortunate enough to not lose that fumble that happened before. But right now, this Viking defense they're holding strong. They lucked out a little bit there with a flag and a holding penalty. But should be interesting. You know that they're going to try and keep trying to put pressure on quarterback Jimmy LeHue.
Well, I was curious. I was like, what was that thing coming out of his pocket? And I forgot it was October. And I'm wearing a pink ribbon myself. Crazy shouts to, of course, everybody who is dealing, of course, with the festivities, all the races for the cures, 3 days and all that stuff for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and to Women's Fraternity Zeta Tau Alpha, who happens to have breast cancer awareness and education is there for the philanthropy. 1st and goal now from the 20 for the Storm. Back goes LeHue. He's going to go inside, handoff early. Has a hole to the 10. He will be tripped down at about the 7-yard line once again by Ortiz, but a good inside handoff. Ridley does the change of pace, and they're able to get the holding yards back +2.
Yeah, as a running back, you're taught to make that one cut and go, and that's exactly what he did. The left side of the Storm offensive line gave him a huge hole, and he found it, and he hit it.
He sure did. All right, 2nd and goal from the 8 after a gain of, we're going to say a gain of 14 to the 6-yard line. Back into the try-back Pistolero. Raheem Ridley now goes in motion to the right. That leaves Michael Thomas and Sean Myers. We'll see what happens here as LeHue takes the snap. Inside handoff Thomas. He squirts out a tackle to the 5 and down to about the 3. Good tackle. I'll tell you, Michael Thomas had a lot of speed there, but brought down beautifully that time by Johnny Martin, about 3 yards shy of the goal line.
That was an excellent tackle. I thought that he was going to be in for sure, and he came out of nowhere, and he took Michael Thomas down. So big 3rd down right now, and the Vikings are going to try and once again get after this quarterback.
Opening drive of the game, 3rd and goal for the Lehigh Valley Storm, spotted at the Vikings 4, and now whistles blow, and we're going to be having a Vikings timeout, first timeout of this game. So as we're nearing the midway part of first quarter approximately, the Storm and the Vikings are no score. So while the video feed goes to a commercial, how about we take care of one of the quick sponsors here for us?
A couple sponsors for tonight are Pepsi, A&H Sporting Goods, Shrudy's Pub and Restaurant, 1853 North Hampton Street in Allentown, Pennsylvania, Scott Family Dealership, Scott Lott, Scott Chevrolet, Scott Mazda, and Scott Volvo, Connecticut School of Broadcasting celebrating 50 years of excellence, State Farm Insurance, Blackman Cycle Center, Kula Children's Center, Buca di Peppo, Philly Pretzel Factory, Amato, Family Chiropractic, and HSG Productions when you're ready to take your game film to the next level.
I thought you were doing a comma here.
I was gonna. It sounded like it, and I was like, wait a second.
That's all right. And remember that Pepsi is the main sponsor for Lehigh Valley Storm football. Pepsi, live for now. And now the Storm have 3rd and goal at the Viking 4-yard line. It's going to be 4 receivers, 2 on each side. Myers to the right of Jimmy LeHue. Takes a snap in the shotgun. Looks. He's going to throw it to the left. He's got Reddick, and he can't quite catch it. Incomplete. He threw it over the head of Parrish, who was defending on the play, but it just went off of Reddick's fingertips. And it looks like it's going to be 4th down. And
it looks like they're staying on the field here.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is the field conditions may not be good enough to kick the ball. I don't know. But they're going to try it. 4th and goal from the 4-yard line, and in a try-back pistolero, there's Jimmy LeHue with the receiver on each side. He waits for the snap. He takes. Got to hand it off to Myers. He goes right. He reverses left, and he is going to be slowed up and tackled at the 5-yard line. The 4th down play doesn't work. My guess is maybe the kicking game isn't here today. I don't know. But the Lehigh Valley Storm get as far as the Vikings' 4-yard line, and they turn the ball over on down.
I mean, they forced a fumble on that drive. They also made a couple great plays. You could tell already this defense is real good, and coming up with a big 4th down stop there, that's huge, and that's exactly what they're going to have to do. You don't want to get behind when you're playing a great Lehigh Valley Storm offense. I mean, Yusuf Reddick should have caught that. Jimmy LeHue threw a great ball, but that's a huge stop for the Vikings.
And now the Lehigh Valley Storm defense is going to see if they can do their thing and try and pin the Vikings back. But in the meantime, by the way, you can check in through Facebook or Twitter, hashtag LVStormFootball. We'll definitely shout you out again, hashtag LVStormFootball on Facebook and on Twitter. And already we've got 3 crazy shouts, of course, out in Western Pennsylvania. Maria's listening, Allison out in Glen Mills, as well as Angela, who's up in Maine listening to this game. So thank you for that. 1st and 10 from the 4 for the Vikings. Here's a handoff left side and breaking away from the tackle, crossing the 20, 30, 40, midfield. Is he gone? To the 30, the 20. He's going to run to the Rutgers, Michigan game. Welcome to the end zone. Cedric Brown just went 96 yards and no flags.
That's exactly what these Viking coaching staff wanted. He was gone. He shot out of a cannon, found the hole, and 96 yards for a touchdown. A coach before this game came up to me and said, watch this kid number 4. I guarantee you he's going to have 200 yards rushing today. Right now he has 1 carry for 96.
As the late Harry Callis once said, can you believe it? That was a heck of a run by Cedric Brown. And I guess right there kind of tells you 4 weeks off, and there's the rust on both offense and defense. Going for it on 4th and goal from the 4 and it not working has completely backfired, and it's hard to explain, but the Storm are down 6-0 in this one. Now the try for the extra point by Terrence Brown. Holding the ball will be Anthony Brown. Wow, here's the snap, the kick on its way, right down the pike and good. So 1 play, 96 yards, and what do you know, folks? The Central Jersey Vikings with a 7-0 lead over the Lehigh Valley Storm.
Well, the Lehigh Valley Storm right now, they're down 7-0. They did go right down the field, but they couldn't punch it in. They couldn't get points on the board. So being down 7-0, they know that this Viking team is all fired up, and they're a good football team. They have a couple guys on defense that really made a couple great plays on that first drive. So a drop ball by Yusuf Reddick, but 7-0 Vikings, and the Storm know they're back into the season. We're not on a bye week anymore.
Well, I got that right. And you talk about a humongous wake-up call there. Here's the funny part. Remember that in basically 2.5 quarters, the Lehigh Valley Storm have now allowed 28 points, which is just unlike them. You take the 21 points for the New Jersey Wolves, Wolves from a month ago in the second half, and in one play, 96 yards for Cedric Brown. Boy, you talk about him kind of disappearing, and all of a sudden he shoots the left side a gap, and away he goes, and he probably just scored a touchdown for Rutgers that time. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah, and he was gone. No one was catching him with his speed and power. The Storm defense is going to have to have a big test ahead of them today.
They sure do. Kickoff coming now by Brown, and it's another short one that is muffed, but then picked up by Daniel Wynn. Wynn will escape a tackle, get to about the 40, and now to near the 45. I think they're going to spot it at the 44-yard line, but you can hear a very raucous Central Jersey Vikings sideline, up 7-0 here in this game. And do you think this is surprising or what?
I do and I don't. This is a real good football team. They're 3-4, but all 3 out of 4 of their losses were by less than 6 points. So you know that there's also a defense that, like I said before, only gives up about 14 points per game. So they have a great running back. Obviously, we haven't seen their offense. We've only seen one play, but the Storm are going to have to try and do what they did on the first drive and go down, except the only thing different is put points on the board this time.
Okay, well, needless to say, I think the Storm got their wake-up call, and now they're going to pretty much try and take care of business here. 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line. Lehigh in the shotgun, Ridley to his right. They will hand it off to Ridley. He'll bounce to the right side, and he has nowhere to go. Brought down for about a 3-yard loss. Gary Smith in on the tackle. I believe also in there was Johnny Martin. I'll tell you what, that Viking defense is no joke tonight.
Every time I look up, it's not only one guy, it's a bunch of guys, and they're hungry and they're ready to show the number 1 ranked MLF Lehigh Valley Storm. They're here to play.
I tell you, I mean, it's hard to really announce something like that when you're trying to get over such a big play. 2nd and 13 from the 42. Back goes Lehigh. He's got to throw a deep one up the middle, and there's your Rust. Pass incomplete. They went Michael Thomas on a central fly, and he threw the ball about 10 yards over his head. I'll make it 3rd and long.
Yeah, no one was around Michael Thomas. He just found the seam and he took off, and that is the Rust right there. Quarterback Jimmy Lehigh grabbed his helmet after that. He knew that he had him wide open and really wanted to hit him. So once again, we have a 3rd down coming up for the Lehigh Valley Storm.
He was just a little bit early in the way he released the ball, but you also have to give credit to the Vikings defense putting the pressure on, and the Lehigh Valley Storm trying to get themselves back together here. And evidently, it looks like it's still 3rd and 13. Ball spot at the 42-yard line as Lehigh in a shotgun pistolero. Back he goes. He's back. He has some time now. He's being chased. He's going to run 45, and he gets thrown down in midfield. He gets into Viking territory at about the 48, but he's still 3 yards shy of a 1st down. And now what do you do on 4th and 3? Do you try and pin the Vikings deep? I mean, it didn't work the first time.
No, and they went for it, obviously, on 4th and goal down there. It looks like they're going to dig deep into their playbook now and try and pick up this 1st down.
Well, they are going for it again. I mean, it seems like all of a sudden the Storm have become Sean Payton and the Riverboat Gamblers here. But they're going to go 4 receivers. They have Ridley to the right. 4th and 2 from the Viking 47-yard line. Lehigh in the shotgun. Waits for the snap. Takes it. Here comes the rush. A throw to left. Caught by Gordon. He's got the 1st down to the 30. Spins out of a tackle. He'll get to about the 20. And he loses the football as he tried. But he fell on it. Devon Gordon fell on the ball. You talk about a lucky bounce. That's 2 of them for the Storm. 1 for Sean Myers, and then Devon Gordon had the ball pop out, and somehow fortuitous bounce goes right back into his breadbasket, down to about the 18-yard line, a 29-yard pickup, but drama guaranteed that we didn't need. But anyway, quickly the Storm line up. 1st and 10 in the shotgun formation. They're going to go 4 receivers, 3 to the right. Raheem Ridley will line up to the right-hand side. Lehigh waiting for the shotgun snap. He goes back, quick slant, and a pass incomplete. Devon Gordon was the intended receiver, but it looked like he threw into triple coverage.
Yeah, they're really putting double coverage on Devon Gordon. They know that he's the best receiver, and they're really trying to shut him down. He broke free on that last play, but he coughed up the ball, and unfortunately for the Vikings, they couldn't land on it. But they're going back to that slant, and this defense sees it coming.
And that's also when you need players like Yusuf Reddick and Jaleel Clark to step up in this case, and we'll have to wait and see if they become a major factor here. Again, 4 receivers, 2 on each side. 2nd and 10 from the 18, and now Reddick in motion. End around he takes. Reddick will have a hold of the 15, bounces off a tackle, and gets maybe about the 10. We'll see where they spot the ball inside the 10, maybe the 9, so Reddick may have gotten all but 1 yard, so it should be like 3rd and short the way it looks like the ball's being spotted.
Yeah, and that's a great point that you just made there. If they're going to double coverage, number 84 Devon Gordon, guys like Yusuf Reddick and Michael Thomas really have to step up, and that's a nice run for Yusuf Reddick there.
They're 2 yards short, so 3rd and 2 from the 10-yard line of the Vikings. Like, you really wanted to put points on the board this time after failing the first time. Back goes Lehigh, looks, he'll throw the right pass, it's incomplete, and that was intended for Jaleel Clark, but the throw was a little bit high. So Clark couldn't come down with it. Again, Peter Canty was in coverage along with somebody else, but now the Storm are faced with a 4th and 2.
Yeah, and this is similar to the situation that they were in before. This is the second 4th down of this drive, and they went back to the slant to Jaleel Clark. So you can see a little bit of rust in quarterback Jamie Hughes' play, but he's got to throw that behind him and worry about this 4th down.
Okay, well, they're going to try it. 4th and 2 from the 10-yard line. Like you, again, the shotgun takes a snap. Handoff, Raheem Ridley has a haul, tries to push. He gets to the 5. He smashes it. He is. They're saying he's in. Now there's a whistle. The officials haven't said anything.
Did he fumble?
Or did he fumble? Did he fumble the football? If that's so, the Vikings say they have it.
Touchdown?
Nobody's signaling anything on the official side. Everybody's confused, including us. And it looks like they're saying it is a fumble, and it is Viking football.
Wow.
And yeah, they just signaled touchback. So Raheem Ridley got the first down, the ball popped out, and 3rd time was not the charm for the Storm having a bounce go their way. It went into the hands of the Vikings, who recovered it in the end zone. Can this be an any worse start for the Lehigh Valley Storm?
Absolutely not. And this is a very good defense, and the reason being, this coaching staff for the Vikings has been together since 1978. So they teach their guys to wrap up and really go after the ball. And so far in the first quarter, they forced 3 fumbles, and that one, most importantly, they landed on it and got the ball back.
And now this is what the Storm have to do, is prevent an 80-yard touchdown run on this play.
Correct.
1st and 10. As I never got a chance to introduce the quarterback for the Vikings, Opie Muse from South Plainfield High School. He's in the I formation this time, a receiver to the right. Let's see what the Storm do defensively. They do hand it off, and that one's Cedric Brown, and Brown does not run 80 yards this time, but he settles for 2 at about the 22-23 yard line, and the tackle by Keenan Walls.
Yeah, this Storm defense, they're not happy about giving up that one play 96-yard touchdown run to number 4 Cedric Brown. So they're going to stick their nose in, and they're going to also put that behind them and do what they do best, and that's fly around to the ball and make big plays.
Okay, so it's 2nd, and we're going to say about 7. It was a gain of 3. Ball be spotted for the Vikings at the 23-yard line. Vikings leading the Storm 7-0, even though this is only the 3rd play from scrimmage for the Central Jersey Vikings here in this quarter. Muse back. He's got to hand it off again. That's Brown. Brown smashes through on the right side. He gets to about the 28. Joe Davis closes that off, but not before a gain of 5. And I'll tell you what, the Vikings offensive line firing on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, they're just running power I with a fullback as a lead blocker to this number 4 kid. He runs real hard. He just broke through 2 arm tackles on that play there, and in my opinion, this is the best running back that the Storm have faced all season so far.
Well, I think after this first quarter, I think we can say you're correct, especially the 96-yard touchdown run that Cedric Brown had. It is 3rd and 2 from the 28-yard line. They'll line with the run formation again. The handoff is Brown. Brown does escape, crosses to the 30, and he'll have a first down to 33 as he's able to pick up 5 more yards. So, what do you know? 109 yards, and Cedric Brown has them all.
Yeah, 91 yards away from 200, just like that coach mentioned. But this kid, he's just lowering his shoulder, and he's running through arm tackles, and he's just picking up extra yards. So they're being real simple with it, and they're just letting the offensive line do the work right now. So this very good Storm defensive line is going to have to get off blocks and make some big plays.
Almost looking like the running back version of the Detroit Lions' Calvin Johnson. Oh, he's a receiver. All right, so 1st and 10 from the 33-yard line. And Opie Muse under center, the same formation, I formation, and a receiver to the right. And again, they hand it off to Brown, but no, it's not Brown this time. But he's able to get to about the 34-yard line. That is Michael Luna out of Perth Amboy. He was able to squeeze through for a gain of 2.
Yeah, there's definitely a run-heavy football team. Their quarterback is a dual-threat guy, but right now they're just saying we're going to run the ball and we're going to run right down your throat. So they're lining up and just playing some smash-mouth football.
They indeed are. And I think one of the biggest things we're seeing from the Vikings, I think the head coaching staff is looking at it as shorten the game. And that's exactly what they're trying to do here. As a matter of fact, a slight break as Jaron Elder is talking to one of the side officials here. It is 2nd and 8. The ball is spotted at the 35-yard line. We'll see if they try another run here. I mean, the Storm have been very good at stopping the run, but obviously, given the rust and the long time off, they haven't been able to do so here. Back goes Muse for a deep pass into double coverage, and that one is almost intercepted by Elder. That was intended for Anthony Brown. Clearly, the ball was overthrown by about 5 yards, but unfortunately, Elder just could not come up with the interception.
Yeah, that would have been a real good interception, almost like Willie Mays Hayes over the back there, but he wasn't open. Number 20, Opie Muse, he's a strong arm, but they're going to obviously try to do what they do and run the ball through the Storm defense, who's currently not happy right now.
Well, that is for sure. But 3rd and 8 coming up as the Vikings, they're at their own 35-yard line. They lead 7-0 over the Storm on a 96-yard touchdown run by Cedric Brown right after the Storm turned the ball over on downs at the Viking 4-yard line. Oh, and it looks like they decided to end the first quarter, so it will be quarter time. The count after 1. It's the Central Jersey Vikings 7, the Lehigh Valley Storm nothing. I'll tell you what, through the first quarter now for the Storm, I mean, they've had 2 possessions. They've gotten inside the 10-yard line both times, and they've come up with 0 points. What does Bob Kohler do here?
That's the absolute definition of bending and not breaking. They forced 3 fumbles, and quarterback Jim Lehigh is a little off. Yusuf Reddick should have had a touchdown, but this is a very well-rounded Central Jersey Viking football team. So, like I said before, the Storm know that they're in a battle versus the Vikings right now.
Okay, and it's obviously not long breaks here as we start the second quarter of play. The Vikings now going right to left as here's the snap, and they're now going to punt the football high and end over end, and the Storm are going to let it bounce at about the 37-yard line, unless I missed a play. It was a 4th down play, evidently, so I must have missed something. But in the meantime, the Storm will get the ball in halfway decent field position at the 37. So now what's the plan for the Storm offense?
Whatever you do, you need to get points on the board, and that's what quarterback Jim Lehigh needs to do right now, whether it be handing off to Myers or Raheem Ridley or hitting guys like Jaleel Clark, Yusuf Reddick, and Devon Gordon. But this is a very important drive right now to sustain a drive and get a couple first downs and boost your confidence.
And this is the good news for the Storm. It's the second quarter. That's where they've scored the most points, obviously, by far. So let's see what happens here as Lehigh has 4 receivers, Reddick in motion, 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line. Lehigh the snap, handoff to Ridley. He's got both hands on the ball, and he's lucky if he maybe gets a yard on the play. Down to the 37-yard line, Gary Smith, Peter Canty, both in untackled.
Yeah, number 99's all over the field, and this Storm offensive line for the first time all season is struggling a little bit versus defensive line who are big and fast, so that's something to keep an eye on. And Raheem Ridley absolutely had nowhere to go on that play.
All right, it is 2nd and we'll say about 9 from the 37-yard line. Lehigh in the shotgun again. They go 4 receivers, 2 on each side. Ridley lines up to the left of Jimmy Lehigh, and now Michael Thomas goes in motion. Here's the snap and a quick handoff. Michael Thomas, who loses his footing, but he'll run around crossing the 45 and then crashes at the 45 into his own bench, and a couple people just got knocked down as if Fred Flintstone just slammed into a wall. He didn't quite get the first down, but I believe they're going to spot it a couple of yards short, and they're going to say the 46, so about a yard and a half short.
Yeah, so third and real short here. You have to make sure to pick up this first down. You don't want yourself in the same situation that you've been on in previous drives, and that's trying to convert a fourth down. So they should be looking to just give Raheem Ridley the ball right now to pick up the first down, and the offensive line needs to create some blocks.
Well, there's an official timeout for the moment, as it looks like it was a gain of 8, so it'll be third and a yard as the ball is spotted at the 46-yard line. Again, the Storm moving left to right from our vantage point here, trailing 7-0 to the Central Jersey Vikings. They were formerly the Middlesex Vikings, but they recently changed the name to Central Jersey. Of course, them being based out of South Plainfield, as I had mentioned before this game started. Now, of course, this is a very championship-tested team, winners of the Big East Football Federation in 2010 and in 2012. So the Vikings know what it takes to win a championship, and that's where the Storm need to kind of realize, hey, if we're going to do that, they went through it. But as we'll take this official break in the meantime, 7-0 Vikings over the Storm.
Yeah, you always know that a team with a lot of heart, who is very well coached, is gonna play great football, and they have a couple athletes on their team. So this is a good Viking team, and I gave a 34-10 prediction on my show on Thursday, and obviously, who knows? Obviously, it's real early in the second quarter right now, but first things first, the Storm need to pick up this first down and drive down and get some points on the board.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, you knew it was going to be a tough game because of the amount of time that they had in between games, knowing about the rust part. In any case, for your video people who just missed it, they did measure to see if the Storm got a first down. They're short by about 1.5 feet. So it'll be third and about half a yard from the 46-yard line. And in the Pistolero, here's a handoff. Raheem Ridley easily gets the first down. Now can he hang on to the ball? He will this time. He lands at midfield. It's a 4-yard pickup, and the Storm can move the chains.
Yep, the offensive line finally picked up some guys on the defensive line. He just hit the hole and picked up a first down there to keep this drive alive.
All right, 1st and 10 from in actually the 49-yard line of the Vikings. So the Storm are in plus territory right now. In the shotgun, 4 receivers, 3 to the right. As Lehigh takes the snap, another handoff Ridley. He slows and gets going, crossing the 45, and then bends backwards to get to about the 42. A gain of 7, and now Raheem Ridley seeming to run with a purpose.
Yeah, and the offensive line is giving him holes, and that's exactly what they need to do. So they're just getting a guy and a guy, and he's picking up some big yards.
Same formation, 2nd and 3 from the 42. Back goes Lehigh. He's back, fakes a handoff, pass is caught, no, dropped. Michael Thomas had it, but he was hit pretty much as soon as the ball got there. Pass is incomplete, but it was a low throw anyway, so it was going to be a tough catch for Thomas, but the Storm still have 3rd and short.
Yeah, Lehigh really isn't himself right now, but they got to pick up this first down on 3rd and short.
Let's see what happens here. 3rd and 3 now from the 42-yard line of the Vikings. 3rd time the Storm have been plus territory here. And now, a fumbled snap again. And I don't know what happened here. It comes out, and it's the Vikings who recover it and run it back into Storm territory at the 43. And Raheem Ridley is hurt. He fell on his left shoulder and is shaken up. The 2nd turnover for the Storm, both on fumbles. And Raheem Ridley, he's still down. He is not getting up. So it seems like he really took a shot on that left shoulder because a lot of weight went on him. And while they attend to him, video will take this break with it being 7-0 Vikings over the Storm.
Perfect. That's perfect, Tom. Perfect. You can keep going on.
Well, while video's on commercial, Raheem Ridley did get helped up, and he will go off slowly. I'll tell you something, everything's just going wrong for the Storm right now. As down 7-0, and now one of their power running backs in some trouble. We'll see if he's able to return a little bit later.
Yeah, the dual-headed monster attack by Raheem Ridley and Sean Myers might not be in effect right now. Raheem Ridley is walking off the field under his own power with the help of Chris White, but the defense really has to make a play right now to keep them in this football game and just make a statement.
Well, it'll be 1st and 10 now for the Central Jersey Vikings, who just recovered their second turnover of the game. Both have been fumbles, and this was just a bad exchange from Jimmy LeHue and Raheem Ridley, and the ball just never got there. And then all of a sudden, a major wave of golden purple came, and Ridley just fell on his shoulder the wrong way, and was shaken up and had to be gingerly carried off. But anyway, 1st and 10, Vikings at the Storm 43. Back goes Muse. Look, he's going to throw a deep ball left side, and a pass incomplete. That was intended for Channon Adams, but getting a paw on it, I believe, was Tajmir Flood, who's had a few interceptions himself. Phil Tucker was also in there, too.
Yeah, he leads the defense with 5 interceptions himself. And this run-heavy first Viking football team really doesn't throw the ball too much. That's the second one of this football game. So the D-backs have to, in my opinion, come up and play the run a little bit. But Opie Muse is more of a dual-threat quarterback, and that's a big play for the Storm.
Indeed it is. So it is 2nd and 10. The ball spotted at the 44 of the Storm for the Central Jersey Vikings. Single setback, of course, is Cedric Brown, who has the only points of the game, still running after a 96-yard touchdown, the first play from scrimmage. Here is the handoff left side to Cedric Brown, and Brown was able to get to about the 41. Not too much there. A gain of 3 before being brought down by, looks like Phil Tucker. Yeah, Paul Bolden was the one that brought him down.
Yeah, Bolden and big number 17, Oren Marshman in the middle, and leader of this defense making a nice play on the power I run right there by Vikings running back number 4, Cedric Brown.
And needless to say, the Storm trying to make some adjustments here as the Vikings look at 3rd and 7 from the Storm 41. They lead 7-0. Of course, the only score of the game, Cedric Brown's 96-yard touchdown run, the first play after the Storm turned the ball over on downs in their opening drive. That has been the story in this contest. 3rd and 7. Muse is going to line up in the shotgun, and now he checks down with Cedric Brown and goes under center. Receiver on each side. Let's see if the Storm show blitz. They do. Back goes Muse. He has the ball. Down he goes. He gets run over by Mike Kuzer back in his own territory at the 47-yard line. That's a 12-yard loss. Just what the doctor ordered for the Storm defense.
When the Storm defense needs a big play, they look to number 44, Mike Kuzer, and he just came flying off the edge, beat the right tackle, and came up with a huge sack on 3rd down, and the Storm offense is ready to get back on the field.
Indeed they are, and punting will be Opie Muse, so he's obviously Danny White / Randall Cunningham, quarterback and punter. So back there for the Storm, Yusuf Reddick standing at about his 10-yard line, and we'll see how this punt goes. Second punt of the day for Opie Muse, who takes the snap. Rush is coming, and it's a low punt. Takes one hop, goes off of a player, and now here comes Yusuf Reddick running with his life, crossing midfield to the 40, the 30, has blockers, 20, 10, you go see the game! Welcome to the end zone! And you can thank the deflection of Jared Elder into the hands of Yusuf Reddick. No flags down, about a 70-yard punt return, and like the Eagles did in San Francisco last weekend, the Storm strike back on special teams.
Yep, just like Darren Sproles did. He caught a lucky break. Number 4, Jaron Elder, tipped it up to him, but I was waiting all season for Yusuf Reddick, number 11, the little fast guy, to reach the end zone on special teams, whether it be punt return or kick return. And with a struggling Lehigh Valley Storm offense, that's exactly what this team needed.
The Lehigh Valley Storm soldier boy. What a Yusuf Reddick. I had to. It was going through my head throughout the day.
That was in your back pocket for a couple weeks?
No, not really. It was in the car 2 hours ago. I had to use it. Gotcha. Bobby Appleman will try the extra point, looking for the game-tying score. High snap, kick on its way, down the pike and good, and just like that, you talk about special, you got it. 70-yard punt return by Yusuf Reddick, and the Storm and Vikings are level at 7-7.
So far, that's So far, that's two huge plays for both teams right now, the 96-yard run and the punt return by Yusuf Reddick. So this game so far right now has a ton of big plays in it, and should be interesting to see what's going to happen next, who's going to strike next on this football field.
Wow, I'll tell you what, that's a huge play, because, and even though the Storm, and you have to also give it to Mike Kuzer, who made that big play with that sack on third down. That kind of started getting the momentum starting to shift, and then that punt return for a score basically signified that the Storm got the momentum back.
Yeah, momentum definitely is swung back in their favor right now. They were looking for a big play, and they got it. So they're going to come down right now on kickoff and try and make a big play. But this Storm offense really is struggling right now. The ball hit the turf 4 times, and the defense is going to have to make a big play for the game to happen right now.
Yeah, this is so loud. All right, so following the 70-yard punt return for a score by Yusuf Reddick off the deflection of Jaron Elder, Bobby Appleman, whom we thought we were going to see earlier in the game, but we didn't for some odd reason, he will be kicking it off, and back there for the Central Jersey Vikings. Try to see what the numbers are. Here it is. A high kickoff end over round be taken by number 10. That is Terrell Rouse. So we'll go around the right side. He'll cross the 20 and get not too much further down to the 25-yard line. Good tackle on the play by the Storm's defender there, and this one happened to be Jason Sedgwick.
Yeah, Sedgwick is a good special teams player, and this kickoff team really has been playing well all year, but guys in the middle like Big 91, Chris Medina, and number 50, Carl Kreider, and 42, Keenan Wall is really going to have to get after this quarterback, and linebackers Orrin Marshman and Paul Bolden shut down number 4, Cedric Brown.
All right, just to recap the game so far, Cedric Brown's 96-yard touchdown run made it 7-0 for the Vikings, but the Storm just tied it at 7 on a 70-yard punt return by Yusuf Reddick. So now the Vikings trying to get themselves back into order here, and you kind of had a feeling, if you're a Storm person, you kind of expected the game to kind of start this way, considering, and I keep beating it like a dead horse, like I shouldn't, but it just seems as if that rust kind of got back to him. Here's a handoff now. Cedric Brown bounces off a couple of tackles, and he's not going to get much, maybe a yard to the 26-yard line, so about a yard on the play, and Joe Davis obviously was in there, so 2nd and 9 coming up.
Yeah, a couple guys on that play made a real nice play. Joe Davis, big number 91, Chris Medina, and there's 11 guys in the box right now on that play for the Storm. They know that they're going to run the ball, so why not stack everybody inside and try and shut down running back number 4.
Okay, 2nd and 9 from the 26-yard line. As once again, Opie Muse, the quarterback, he hasn't thrown a completion yet. He's thrown a couple and have been pretty much deep balls. But again, a handoff to Cedric Brown. Brown tries to go up the middle. And I'll tell you what, the Storm coaching staff doing a good job making the adjustments so that Brown doesn't keep running this time to Perth Amboy. Game and 2 that time, so a 3rd and 7 for the Vikings coming up.
Yeah, he's really running real hard, lowering his shoulder, but putting everyone in the box there and making sure that you wrap up is exactly what they have to do. You just have to get back to fundamentals and stop a good running back like he is. But on 3rd and about 7 right now, this is a big play for both teams.
All right, so 3rd and 7 now from about the 27-yard line. Actually, we're going to say more like 3rd and 8. So Opie Muse is going to try and design a play to see if he can get the first down. So far, it's been a big play day on both ends. The Storm, they've had their share of plays, but they haven't had a real big one on offense. They've had the special teams pick up for them. So now, it's going to be looks like under center will be Opie Muse. But they're going to keep the I formation. 3rd and 7 to 28, and now whistles. And the Vikings use their second time out of the half right here. So we're in the second quarter. 3rd and 7 coming up as the Storm and Vikings are 7-7.
And a couple sponsors for tonight's game are Pepsi, A&H Sporting Goods, Schrudy's Pub and Restaurant, Scott Family of Dealership, Scott Lott, Scott Chevrolet, Scott Mazda, and Scott Volvo. Also, Connecticut School of Broadcasting, State Farm Insurance, Blackman Cycle Center, Kula Children's Center, Buca di Peppo Italian Restaurant, Philly Pretzel Factory, Amato Family Chiropractic, and HSG Productions.
But of course, that's the group that tells you when you're ready to take your game to the next level. And just remember, take it from us. We're CSB grads. We've been assaulted and peppered because it's Buca de Beppo. It sounds like you're saying Peppo, and I'm like, no, I don't have pepper on here. So, that's fine anyway. Just remember, Pepsi's a proud sponsor of Lehigh Valley Storm football. Pepsi, live for now. We want to thank everybody listening, of course, to Lehigh Valley Storm football, and of course, Major League Football here on lvstormfootball.com, and of course, Storm Radio on hot101.net. So, it'll be 3rd, and we're going to say about 8 from the 27-yard line.
The link for a live stream of this football game is on the MLF Facebook page if you want to tune in for a live stream and audio of this game.
And you can also go to MajorLeagueFootball.us to get the link if you can't quite find Major League Football, so I just want to pass that along too. 3rd and 8 from the 27-yard line. Muse under center, single setback. They do line up a receiver on each side, so let's see what happens here. It's the Storm looking to show blitz. Whoop, and we got some movement, and the referees with their pink ribbons and pink flags throw that down, and we'll see what this is all about. The question is, who moved first? Were the Storm jumpy, or was there a little flinch on the part of the Vikings? Let's see what they say here. And it's funny because I didn't see any pink flags go down this time, so I know, I think in a couple of Sundays, the Central Jersey area is going to be having their Susan G. Komen for the Cure, so you can certainly check out Komen.org for more information on that, and then check out the Central Jersey one that is on the page. They always do races like all throughout the year, all throughout the country. Of course, some others say tradition in Philadelphia. I know they have one in New York City in September. So, and of course, crazy shouts to the folks at Women's Fraternity Zeta Tau Alpha, who of course, their philanthropy is breast cancer awareness and education. Meanwhile, they've decided it is a neutral zone infraction against the Storm, so now the Vikings are going to end up with a 3rd and 3 coming up.
The 3rd and 3 is a lot more convertible than the 3rd and 8, and definitely a different play call. Expect a run now, being it's 3rd and 3 and not 3rd and 8 before that penalty.
Chris Medina was a little jumpy on that one, but now 3rd and 3 from the 32. Back goes Muse looking. He's rolling around to the right. May have some room to run. He's looking. He's going to throw a deep ball into a tight coverage, and it is batted down and incomplete. A nice play on the part, if I can find it. There's John Kennedy was able to knock it down. That was intended for Terrence Brown. There are a lot of Browns on the offense. You got Cedric at running back. You, of course, have Anthony and Terrence also in the receiving corps. So the Vikings went for a long throw on 3rd and short, came up empty, and we'll see what they do on 4th down.
Yeah, they went for a little bit of play action there. Paul Bolden put great pressure on the quarterback, who looked like Opie Muse, number 1, was going to try and run for a 1st down, and number 24, John Kennedy, almost had an interception, but that's a huge play for the Storm defense.
And Muse needs to pay attention because the last time he punted to Yusuf Reddick, he went 70 yards to the house. Not the big house where Michigan is down New Brunswick, but good enough for the Storm to tie this game. Let's see if Reddick can field another one and get the Storm in very good field position. On 4th down, here's the snap, and Muse goes away, and another low punt. He did the right thing, kick it away from Reddick, but he still picks it up at about the 26. He'll move through his right, cross the 30, to the 35, forces a missed tackle. Now he reverses direction, gets a couple of blocks. Now a flag goes down, so everything's all for naught. Reddick running about the 40, midfield, and then, he is thrown down way out of bounds after he went out by one of the Vikings, and there's a flag there too. So we may have offsettings. There's definitely an illegal block or a hold during the return, but then after the play ended, definitely a, we'll just say, unnecessary roughness out of bounds. So how will they decide this?
I have no idea. I think it should be a re-kick, but we'll see the decision that they come out up with. That was definitely Yusuf Reddick, number 11, after a big touchdown, trying to make something happen again. But there is a penalty on the Storm, and also that. So maybe offsetting, maybe re-kick.
Well, I would assume that because both penalties happened, one on each side during the return, but we're going to have to see what the officials decide to discuss on the where the play is over. I'm assuming the guess would be 10 yards from where the foul was, and then 15 the opposite direction, so it's a net plus 5 because the foul happened after the play was over. So I would have to say both penalties would be enforced, but who knows what the officials are thinking in their minds and what their interpretation is going to be.
Yeah, nevertheless, that was still it was a great run back by Yusuf Reddick. I hear a couple guys on the sideline screaming now that it is going to be a re-kick, so it looks like that's what they've decided.
Yeah, I think the officials just said illegal block on the Storm and a personal foul on the Vikings. So forget we just even said the last 2 minutes. So we'll just do the thing all over again and see what happens here on a 4th down. And, you know, when these things happen, stranger things happen the second time around, like a fake punt and who knows what else. So Reddick can't assume he's going to be returning this one either. In fact, he's not. It looks like it's going to be
Chris White.
Yep, Chris Dub White. He's back standing at about the 15-yard line. Reddick was running about 60 yards, only gained like 15 and had it brought back. So he's like, okay, give my lungs a break. Let's get Chris White to see what he can do with this one.
Yeah, he also might have been a little shaken up on that 15-yard penalty out of bounds. So let's give 87, who has a lot of explosiveness and speed, a chance to show his skills at punt return.
Well, for whatever reason, the ball is spotted on the 43-yard line. Wait a minute, I thought it was a 33. But anyway, it's going to be 4th down. And Muse looks.
They need the chance. They need the chance now. That's why.
I'm just as confused here. But anyway, they're going to, I guess, have an official timeout here to discuss so it's gone. Because if they're re-kicking, they got to make sure to get the ball spotted correctly. So we're going to have a little bit of a breather here. Just to recap really quick for those of you who just joined us, it's 7-7 between the Vikings and the Storm. And we're going to say here that it was the Storm that drove all the way down to the 4-yard line and unfortunately couldn't get the ball into the end zone. They had to turn the ball over on downs. And one play later came Cedric Brown off the left side, 96 yards for a touchdown for the Vikings. But then the Storm tied the game off a punt where Yusuf Reddick took a deflection off of Jared Elder and took it 70 yards for a score. That's where we are, 7-7 right now. And now the officials are correcting the spottage of the ball, which was what I suspected in the first place. They will re-spot it about the 34-yard line. It'll still be 4th down anyway. And it'll be punting time for Muse, who takes a good snap. Here they come. Almost get it blocked and bounces to the left side. Chris White is going to pick it up at about the 28. Bounces off a tackle, goes to the 30. Flag down just before he steps out of bounds. So we may see another hold on the part of the Storm. We'll see what the officials say.
Yeah, I didn't see a hold there, but after all that, it's a re-kick, and Chris White picked it up. I thought it was a fire, but let's wait and see what the call is.
Well, this time a regular yellow flag came down, so we have yellow flags and pink flags. I mean, basically this football game is in Technicolor today. But anyway, the officials will discuss. I'm guessing it'll probably be a hold on the Storm because it happened technically during the return, even though White only had the ball for about 3 seconds. So we'll see what the officials decide, but I don't think we're going to be seeing another re-kick unless there's another flag that I missed. And I've missed a few this year.
Yeah, the pink flags and the yellow flags and all over the place, but there hasn't been not too many penalties so far in this football game, but they're clearing it up right now.
Yeah, and they're going to say it's a face mask, and it's going to be on the Vikings because it looks like they're going to the other way, and they're going to spot the ball. Right now it's spotted at the 38-yard line, the Storm in their own territory. But if there's a face mask on the Vikings, which there is not, it is going to be on the Storm, and it's going to be backed up, I think, to the 33?
This is not good.
Oh, boy.
Let's see what he's saying.
I guess that last play just left both of us speechless, and that usually does not happen. Anyway.
It looked back 5, so it could have been an offside on the kick.
It's also possible, too. But anyway, 1st and 10 from the 33-yard line for Jimmy LeHue and the Storm with a 7-7 game. Michael Thomas in motion, and then somebody moves, and then flags of every color come out. We might as well have a parade down like Fifth Avenue or something. It's going to be a false start against the Storm. Somebody jumped on the offensive line.
Yeah, the right tackle jumped there, and the rust definitely is showing. Having a couple weeks off for sure, but you can only use that excuse for 1 quarter. So it's now the 2nd quarter, and they really need to gear down and get this high-powered offense moving again.
Well, at least the Storm are, I guess, coming back mentally to get themselves focused here. But it is 1st and 15 at the 28-yard line for Jimmy LeHue. Michael Thomas in motion again, reversing left to right. Sean Myers to his right. Back goes LeHue. Has some time. He's looking. He's got to throw it deep, but he's got Jaleel Clark just out of his reach and incomplete. If he catches it, he's running down to High Point Solution Stadium, but unfortunately, just a little bit over his head and incomplete.
Just a little bit overthrown. Jaleel Clark just blew by his cornerback there and hit off his hand. A little bit overthrown, like you just said, by quarterback Jim Lehigh, but they're trying to open it up right now and create another big play.
Wow, that's the second time that's happened. First time was Michael Thomas. This time was that last time was Clark. And here, I mean, you figure third time's got to be the charm for Lehigh to try that play, but I don't think we're going to see that again maybe until the second half. But that's where the adjustments are made. 2nd and 15 from the 28-yard line. Here's Lehigh handing it off to Sean Myers, who slips, gets to about the 30, and maybe to the 32-yard line for a gain of 4 as he went off the left guard that time. But it's a gain of 4. A nice takedown that time by Peter Canty, or Parker Canty rather, who has really had a very nice first half.
Yeah, this whole defense has the Vikings defensive line really is playing well against the Storm offensive line, engaging in their blocks and getting off and tackling the running backs.
3rd and 11 from the 32-yard line. Lehigh in the shotgun once again. 4 receivers. Myers to the right of Jimmy Lehigh. Let's see what happens here. I'm assuming a pass, but you never know. Lehigh waiting a long count. Now he takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He's looking. Now he's going to move to his left. Lehigh will throw on the left side. And open is Chris White at the 40. Tries to miss a tackle. Gets to the 45. He didn't need to make that stutter step. He was right past the first down marker. Chris White able to come through for a gain of 12 when he needed 11. That's one good way to move those chains.
That was a great job by Lehigh, just waiting and not forcing anything and finding his open receiver, number 87, Dub White, for a first down.
13 yards for Dub. So 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line. Lehigh again to shotgun. 4 receivers. This time in motion White. And White takes the end around. He'll go around. He'll have the 45. Has a block and taken down by Canty at the 48-yard line. Gain of 3. Canty can run. Can he?
Yeah,
literally.
6'5", 215. He's all over the field, and he's just creating plays. That's what you're taught to do as a linebacker. And it was just a speed away, and he just scraped across and made a great play.
2nd and we're going to say about 6 from the 49-yard line. Again, the shotgun formation. 2 receivers on each side. Myers to the left of Jimmy Lehigh. Thomas now going in motion. And now it's Thomas who takes the end around, crossing midfield. He gets into Vikings territory, but he gets tripped up at the 48. Gain of 3 on the play. And now the Stormer face with a 3rd and 3 situation. I wouldn't think they would try doing that play again, because you know the Vikings would probably figure that one out.
Yeah, I'm expecting a slant route. Lehigh maybe to Clark or Gordon coming up, but it looks like the Storm just took a timeout. Oh, no, it's a 2-minute warning?
Oh, yeah, 2-minute warning indeed. So it's 7-7, Storm and Vikings at a 2-minute warning.
Okay.
While we have a second, we'll remind you this copyrighted broadcast is being presented by authority of Major League Football in conjunction with the Lehigh Valley Storm, who have the right of approval to the announcers of this game. It's intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of your audience. This broadcast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or disseminated in any form without express written consent. That includes all accounts and descriptions given in tonight's game. The Storm and Major League Football would like to thank you all for your continued support. We're hoping you're enjoying today's broadcast, which is right now 7-7 Storm and Vikings with 2 minutes left. This game is the property of Major League Football in conjunction with the Lehigh Valley Storm and Central Jersey Vikings, with all rights to this broadcast reserved under international conventions. Now my lungs need a break.
That was very impressive. But a couple sponsors tonight: Pepsi, A&H Sporting Goods, Shrudy's Pub and Restaurant, Scott Family of Dealerships, Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Also, the link for live streams on the MLF Facebook page. If you want to tune in, there's 2 minutes left right now in the first half of this football game, and scores all tied up at 7.
And we, of course, want to thank our people who are listening online, courtesy of Storm Radio and Hot101.net, the official home of Lehigh Valley Storm football. It is 3rd and 3 from the Viking 48-yard line, with Lehigh in the shotgun, takes a high snap stance, throws on the middle, pass caught Michael Thomas, crossing the 40 and down to the 30, maybe the 29-yard line, brought down by Jonathan Ortiz, but a good pickup of 19, and the Storm moved the chains.
Just like I said, that slant was coming. That's what the Storm offense does, and Lehigh just delivered a strike for a first down.
And quickly go the Storm, 1st and 10 at the 29. Back goes Lehigh. Quick pass again, Michael Thomas. He's going to try and get back to the line of scrimmage, and he maybe gets a yard to the 28-yard line. Good tackle that time by the Vikings, and Gary Smith, who's been very active here in this first half.
Yeah, I mean, I have to give this Viking defense a lot of credit. They're absolutely flying all over the field right to the football.
All right, 2nd and 9 from the 28-yard line. Lehigh in the shotgun to the right, Sean Myers. 2 receivers each end. Handoff Myers. Tries to go in the middle. He has a hole. 25. Goes to the 20. And he gets taken down about the 17-yard line. Flying through the air with the greatest of ease. Happened to be that Shannon Adams. And he brings him down, but not before an 11-yard gain. And the Storm are back in the red zone again.
Yeah, that was a great call from the Storm coaching staff. After 2 passing plays in a row, opening up with a running back draw right there. That's a great call.
Sean Mayers was the one to carry, and he gets this. No, it's a keeper for Jimmy Lehigh, and he will slide and crash and burn to about the, we're going to say the 17-yard line. Now, I think the Storm are going to use their first of their 3 timeouts here.
Injury.
And it's on the Vikings. So if that's the case, we'll have to wait and see what happens here. Still 7-7 late here in the first half.
You want a break?
No.
Anyway, yeah, there is an injury, and the injured player, I believe, was number 99, Parker Canty. And let me just put it this way. That might have saved the Storm a timeout because the injury happens in the final 2 minutes. The Vikings only had 1 timeout left, and they may have used their last one. And Bob Kohler, I think, is trying to get clarification from the officials here. Even though the Storm called that timeout, there was an injured Viking player, so I think the timeout goes on the Vikings. And if that's so, then the Storm get the timeout back.
Yeah, that's definitely how it should work out there. Number 99, Parker Canty, has had a great first half in this football game so far, but it looks like he's real shaken up on the sideline. So it should be interesting to see what's going to happen in the second half for Canty.
Well, he'll be out for at least 1 play for certain. But anyway, Lehigh was able to get 2 on the play. And it'll be 2nd and we're going to say 8 from the 17-yard line. Storm trying to line up for another play here after the break. So,
We're going to have time because they're talking about it.
as I was going to point out, because of the injury, that leaves the Vikings out of timeouts for the first half. So should they get the ball to try and drive down the field? Now remember, the Vikings will get the ball to start the second half of play. They might just consider taking a knee no matter what happens here and just reset themselves. But hey, you never know. You could go for gold and have something great happen, or you could have Ryan Leaf to Jeremiah Trotter happen too.
Yeah.
So let's not forget about that. So 2nd and 8 from the 17-yard line. Storm in the red zone for the 3rd time in this game. Sean Mayers to the right of Jimmy Lehigh. He's waiting for the snap, takes it, goes back, couple step drop, looking, throws a screen to Mayers. Mayers on the hold to the 15, crashes into a fender and goes down at about the 12-yard line. Pick up a 5 on the play. Not going to be enough for a first down, but the tackle made that time by Johnny Martin. And I think now the Storm will use their timeout.
And that was a great check down by quarterback Jim Lehigh. He looked around, really had no one open, and he just found his running back for a big game.
Yeah, it took a lot of time because everybody was covered, so at the last second you might as well screen it, and it worked out just fine. Just a reminder, of course, Pepsi, the lead sponsor here for Lehigh Valley Storm football. Pepsi, live for now. Of course, see what's trending at Pepsi.com, especially for the fall. I was going to give you the Pepsi plunge, but it's October, so unless you're in South Florida, unless you want to be Bugs Bunny like icebergs trying to find a penguin in a cartoon, obviously, like I said, see what's trending at Pepsi.com. Pepsi, live for now. So the Storm will have the ball here at the, we'll say the 12. It'll be 3rd and what looks to be about, I can't see. It looks like the ball's spotted about the 8-yard line, and the line of scrimmage looks to be about the 6. We're a little bit of a tough angle here, so we're doing our best to describe it. But anyway, 3rd and we'll say 2 from the 8-yard line as Lehigh in the shotgun formation. 3 receivers on the left. Takes the snap. He's looking. He's got to throw to the right on favor Jaleel Clark. He catches it in the corner. Welcome to the end zone. Jaleel Clark is saying, whew, finally got one. And the Lehigh Valley Storm have taken the lead late in the first half here over the Central Jersey Vikings. Seriously?
Yeah.
That would be.
That was a very late call.
That was extremely late call. That's the 2nd time it's happened in the first half. The first time really ran the pay dirt, but that got called back for holding. So
Wow.
Oh boy, the drama of semi-pro football is just as level as the NFL. It seems like.
Yeah.
I couldn't see who held on there, but take back that touchdown call. I think maybe that's my rust. And there I need to see an eye doctor.
Yeah, Lehigh found Clark in the end zone. There was a whole offensive holding to bring it back, but they're going to try and do the same exact thing and air it out maybe here and get back into the end zone.
He went from to why you little. Anyway, 3rd and 13 now from about the 23-yard line, it looks like, as Mayer stands to the left of Lehigh. 4 receivers and Michael Thomas in motion, goes to the left. He's the 3rd receiver. Back goes Lehigh looking. He fakes. He's going to throw to the left. And a pass caught by, I think, Michael Thomas inside the 20 down to the 18. And it looks like the Storm may use another timeout here, and they do. So looks like it'll be 4th and 11 coming up. We're still 7-7 as the Storm use another timeout.
And it looks like number 47, Bobby Eppelman, is going to come out. And this is a real big kick right now coming up for the Storm. Obviously, the score is tied right now, 7-7. So this is a big kick for the Storm and has a lot to do with momentum carrying into the second half of this football game.
That is very true. And you have to also wonder why Eppelman wasn't out in the first quarter. Would sure 3 points for the Storm, but instead they go for it on 4th down, and it ends up backfiring. It ends up being a 14-point swing after all. So let's see what happens here. It's going to be lined up kind of in the middle, like more a little toward the left hash mark here, as it's going to be what looks to be a 33-yard field goal. And this is to give the Storm the lead. Eppelman has made 3 straight, dating back to the last one against the Spartans. Here's the snap, the kick on its way, and it's looking good, and he didn't get it. No good. It hooked to the right the last minute. Wide right, and once again the Storm had points taken off the board on penalties. The first time they turned the ball over and downs. This time Eppelman misses a field goal wide right.
And now that's 2 touchdown passes 2 touchdowns in this football game that got called back. One was a hold in the first quarter, and then that was a hold now in the second quarter. But that's 7 points off the board for the Storm.
It indeed is, and it turns out to be halftime here as we are going for a little snack break. We are through one half of play as the video leaves us for a little while. Lehigh Valley Storm and Central Jersey Vikings tied up at 7 apiece. Now, meanwhile, for our group here listening on audio, we of course had a little bit of a synopsis here on this stuff, but I'll tell you something, a very, very crazy first half of plays, to say the least. But certainly in the second half, we're hoping that things will finally be ironed out. What was your surprise in the first half?
Honestly, I expected the rust to come out for the Storm, but I didn't realize that this Central Jersey Viking team was so good. Guys like Parker Canny, number 99 on defense, and company really just fly all around to the football and are giving a lot of trouble to this Storm offense. So that is something that definitely surprised me tonight.
Well, I believe a lot of the rust is gone on the physical side, and now we're going to see what the second half brings. So we'll take this breather. We're through one half of play here in South Plainfield, New Jersey. The Lehigh Valley Storm and the Central Jersey Vikings level at 7 apiece. We could use a little bit of refreshment ourselves. Just hang with us, folks. We'll come back with a second half in just a little bit.
You got the white hat.